kali ni saya nak terangkan sedikit tentang properties of absolute values. So, the learning outcomes, learning outcomes adalah at the end of this video, you should be able to state the properties of absolute values. So, kena tahulah apakah property-property dia. So sebelum kita tengok properties, let's look at the definition first. So, absolute value is a distance of a number from zero. So, apa maksud dia tu kan? So, kita refer kepada this diagram, number line. Okay, let's say kita ada nilai 4. Betul? So, 4 tu maksudnya apa? So, 4 is actually the direction ataupun the distance from 0 ke arah kanan. Okay, so if you look at this diagram here, nampak tak? 0 ke 4 dia ke arah kanan arrow dia. Okay, now how about negative 4? Okay, negative 4 jarak dia dari 0 is also 4. Okay, tapi dia ke arah kiri. So arrow dia ke arah kiri. So that is what negative 4 means. Now, maksudnya kat sini 4 is 4 away from 0 macam saya cakap tadi, dan negative 4 is also 4 away from 0. So distance mereka ataupun jarak mereka adalah 4. So tak kira lah dia ke arah kiri ataupun ke arah kanan, but the distance is still 4. So that means the absolute value of 4 and negative 4 are 4. So kalau kita boleh tulis dia, so absolute value of 4 is actually modulus of 4 sama dengan modulus of negative 4, which is 4. Okay, so that is what it meant by this diagram lah. Now kita tengok pula kepada basic definition of absolute values. Okay, tadi kita dah tengok secara gambaran dia macam mana. So absolute values can be written as modulus of A and is defined as, so the modulus of A here is actually equals to negative A if A is less than 0 and positive A if A is more than or equal to 0. Okay, so kalaulah A kita tu adalah negatif kan, so bila kita gantikan negatif dalam A ni, so negatif dengan negatif akan jadi positif, betul? So kalau dia positif, memang automatic dia positif lah. So that is why the value of A, modulus of A will be always positive. Okay, now square root are connected to absolute values. So what does it mean by connected? Apa kaitan antara square root dengan absolute values? So let's say kita start dengan x square equals to k. Okay, kalau kita nak cari solution dia, okay, when k is more than or equals to 0, kan? Sebab kita tahu kan x square ni memang sentiasa positif, betul? So the solutions to the quadratic equations are square root of k and negative square root of k. Okay, ini pun semua orang dah tahu, betul tak? Kalau kita gantikan square root of k inside this x, and then kita squarekan dia, we are going to get k. And if we put negative square root of k into this x as well, kalau kita squarekan it will be k. Now let's say kita ada fx equals to square root of x square and gx equals to the modulus of x. Now kita try dulu masukkan nilai into these tables, okay, into the functions. Kita tengok apa beza mereka. Okay, let's start with x less than negative 10. Okay, for x less than negative 10, x yang kita masukkan let's say adalah negative 15. Okay, if we substitute negative 15 into fx here, okay, ni boleh guna calculator saja. What we get here will be 15, positive 15. Okay, and bila kita masukkan negative 15 into the gx here, which is in modulus lah, so modulus of negative 15 will be positive 15. Okay, so far value dia sama. Now, what happen if we put a value of x between these intervals? So kita ada negative 10 until negative 1. So let's say kita masukkan negative 5. Okay, so for negative 5, substitutekan dalam kita punya fx, we have 5. And masukkan dalam gx, modulus of negative 5 will be 5 as well. Okay, now if we have an x between negative 1 and 0, so negative 1 dengan 0 ni, okay, kita kecilkan lagi nombornya, let's say we have negative 0.5. So negative 0.5 square will be 0.25, I guess. And if we square root it, it will be still 0.5. So positive lah. Okay. And if we put negative 0.5 here into our function gx, okay, ada modulus kan? So it will remain positive, which is 0.5. Okay. Kalau kita gantikan kosong, semua orang tahulah, bila kita gantikan kosong, automatic lah, all this function will be 0 kan? Now, untuk positive value pula. So, antara kosong dan 1, kita terbalikkan je lah nilai kat sini So, if we have 0.5, so 0.5 square, dia akan jadi 0.5 juga. Bila kita square root kan? And, same goes to the gx, will be 0.5 juga. And for 1 until 10, let's say saya masukkan nilai 5. Okay, and 5 square dapat 25. Square root of 25 will be positive 5. And masukkan 5 dalam modulus of x, maksudnya modulus of 5 lah, it will be 5 as well. Okay, and bila x more than 10 pun, dia akan jadi benda yang sama. So let's say letak 15 lah. Dan kita akan dapat 15 untuk semua jawapan kepada function fx dan gx. So, apa maksudnya kat sini? If we look here, fx equals to square root of x square dan juga gx equals to modulus of x. When we substitute any real values, any real number into the function, kita akan dapat nilai yang sama at the end. Okay, so the conclusion for this test ataupun trial here is square root of x square is actually equals to modulus of x ataupun absolute value of x. Okay, so you need to remember this because kita akan banyak guna this definition untuk solve our absolute equations as well as absolute inequalities. Okay, now let's look at the first property of absolute values. Okay, the first property, non-negativity. So modulus of a will be greater than or equal to 0. So it will be always more than 0. Tak logik lah kan kalau dia positif, kalau dia negatif. And for the second properties, so the modulus of negative a equals to a. Modulus of negative a equals to a. So the example here that we can choose ataupun we can write the example here as let's say kita ada nombor apa ya? Modulus of negative 6. Okay, so modulus of negative 6 will be equals to 6. Betul tak? Dan kalau kita ada modulus of 6 pun, kita akan dapat sama dengan 6. So ini adalah benda yang sama lah. Okay, now third properties is modulus of a plus b is equals to b plus a. Okay, let's say kita let a equals to 3 and b equals to 4. So what will happen here? So on the left hand side, kita try. So the modulus of 3 plus 4, kita akan dapat apa? Modulus of 7, which is equals to 7. And how about modulus of b plus a? So now 4 tambah 3. So 4 tambah 3 still dapat modulus of 7, which is equals to 7. So dia adalah benda yang sama. Okay. So the modulus of a minus b is equals to b minus a. Is it true? So kita gunakan example nilai. Okay. So let's say a kita let sebagai 3 and b kita let sebagai 5. Okay. So for the left hand side, let's check. So the modulus of a will be 3 minus 5. Kita dapat apa kat dalam ni? 3 tolak 5, kita akan dapat negative 2. But a modulus of negative number will be just a positive number. So dia akan kekal 2. And for the right hand side, so we have modulus of 5 minus 3. So 5 tolak 3, kita dapat modulus 2. So kalau modulus 2, it will be just 2. And here we get the same result as well. So this will be true. Okay. And now the fifth properties will be, kita let lagi lah. Okay, bila masukkan nombor ni baru kita nampak contoh dia kan. So let A be 5 now and B will be 10. Okay, kita ambil nombor besar sikit. So for the left hand side, the modulus of 5 multiplied by 10. What do we have here? 50. Okay, the modulus of 50. So modulus of 50 will be 50 lah. So is it the same as the right hand side? Now look, the modulus of 5 we multiply by the modulus of 10. Okay, so modulus of 5 is 5, modulus of 10 is just 10. So 5 darab 10 berapa? 50. And here kita dapat nilai yang sama. Okay, now let's go further to the last example ataupun last property sebenarnya. So the modulus of A over B will be equals to the modulus of A divided by the modulus of B, where B, the modulus of B must be not equal to 0. Okay, fraction, denominator cannot be 0. So now kita letaklah A, let's say apa kali ni 4, and B, let's say dia adalah 16. Okay, so 16 ni bukan kosong kan? Ataupun kita letak nombor yang negatif lah. Okay, so kita tukarkan sikit. Let's say we have B as negative 2. Okay, so here the left hand side, so the modulus of 4 over negative 2 here will be modulus of negative 2. Kan? 4 bagi negative 2 dapat negative 2. And the modulus of negative 2 will be just 2. Will be positive lah. And for the right hand side now, so the modulus of 4 over the modulus of negative 2. So apa kita buat? Hilangkan dulu modulus. So it will be 4 divided by modulus of negative 2 will be just 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So kita nampak hasilnya adalah sama. Okay. So that will be the end of the properties of absolute values. So you are now ready to go further to solving absolute values of equation, absolute equation, and also absolute inequalities.